How big's your team? Or is it just you? I mean,
No.
how do you?
I have an entire staff of mixture of like personal assistants, video editors, photographers, etc. So right now in the office, I have like 5 main people. And then I also have my extended staff that I kind of bounce back and forth between here and the office because they work also with me on Real Work, my agency for like OF creators and Fansly, etc. Like different girls and guys. There's some guys on there too. So yeah, I have like an extended staff, and I have like my immediate at my house is usually 4 to 5 people always.
Do you consider yourself like the CEO of the business, or do you have like a straight person, like a by the book person who's like making sure everything's running on time, or are you that person?
I guess I could technically be called the CEO, but I don't manage it as much day to day as like my my head staff that I have, my managing directors for it.
And we got to know Mr. Beast recently. We like had an event and like a kind of like a basketball camp or whatever. He came and we had him on the pod, and he's a obviously super impressive guy. And he gets this like kind of amazing coverage in the news. Everything is like Mr. Beast, he's a good dude, but like the coverage is like pretty much exclusively good. Obviously, there's some haters, always, but like people think he's amazing. Business people really respect him for his like business acumen, and he's seen as one of the biggest content creators. But I would say your franchise is right up there with him. If you just took the sort of like the face off the business, if I just showed you the P&L of both businesses, I think you would be like, well, I want her P&L, right? Because you're making almost as much money with way less expenses, with way less staff and overhead.
That's true.
Probably with more valuable customers, more loyal customers, and then on top of that, you're like the moves you're making off your streams or off your platforms where you've got the agency, and then you've got the all your investments and stuff like that. It's just like what he's doing with his agency and his investments and all that. But I feel like you don't get that same coverage, or if you do, it's like, could you believe this? She's doing like, real business things. Like how does, I guess, like, do you agree with my assessment there? And how do you feel about that?
Yeah, I guess the main difference is the platform that I'm doing it on. Cause, OF is already going to have like a bias behind it. People don't want to admit that they pay attention to it, even if they do. And then Twitch also is a much smaller platform than YouTube. So it just doesn't have the same amount of reach, even if it's like the same model and the same like type of stuff. It just doesn't reach nearly as many people as like his YouTube channel would.
How big do you think this gets? So like, I don't know what you're doing annually now, but maybe it's like, I don't know, 15 million or something like that. How big do you think that this can get, and how big do you want it to get?
I don't know, because if I can successfully grow Real Work, would be like, manage other girls' accounts. It can potentially grow like a huge network, and that's kind of like in my extended empire. But me by myself, I don't know. I never even thought I'd get you this far, so it kind of just happens really quickly, especially once pandemic started and everyone was just online all the time. So I'm not really sure.
When you're laying in bed at night and you're like, when I go to bed at night, I'm like, man, like I had a good day, whatever. It's really inspiring. I dream of, I think I could do this. I think I could like do this one thing that's like crazy. And I just think like, well, in 10 years, maybe this little thing could be this, and this. What do you imagine? Like, what's your dream? Even if it's outlandish to say sometimes, or maybe it's not, I don't know. But like, what's your dream on where you want to take your career?
Well, hopefully the dream would be to not grind as much for the next like year to 3 years, and just kind of stream part-time, like a few days a week maybe, and then just have my empire for Real Work have grown so much. Maybe we have like 50 to 100 OF creators that we just kind of provide virtual assistants for, and then my legacy kind of lives on through that, and then I don't feel like I have to grind every day and can just work with animals on stream a few days a week. It's really fun.
And explain what Real Work is. So this is like an agency you started. It's not, from what I understand, it's not a talent agency. It's like we can like the system you built with your back office, with your assistants and those people. You offer that as a service basically to other OnlyFans creators who don't have that back office. But like, I guess describe it in your words.
Yeah, I guess it would be like virtual assistants like a team put together that other creators can have access to, where they'll help like edit your content, post your content, market it, like write up descriptions and push sales on your platforms and stuff. And then occasionally, like I do events where I have girls from the agency come over and we stream together, we collab, etc. So it's kind of like helping others grow and then managing that growth to provide like more efficient sales across their platforms.
Let's say that like I couldn't afford to hire your team, and I just said, but is there like just like a handful of bullet points that you could tell me on how to have a successful page like you do? Like what are the like 1, 5, 10 bullet points that you would say, well, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this?
Well, I think if you want to grow, you really do need help, whether that's just like your friends, maybe if you have like a really cool sibling, family, someone close enough to you where they can physically come over and help you with shoots, help you get your content out there, like edited, posted, etc. Because if you want to grow, you also have to be putting out like content on public non-shadow banned platforms like Twitter, YouTube. TikTok is huge right now. TikTok is really easy to grow on compared to the other ones right now. Twitch actually isn't that great for growth unless you have other platforms already. I would save Twitch for last if you're even contemplating it, because it has no discovery system that makes any sense. It's all just recommended, and what gets recommended, people who already have viewers. How do you get viewers? You have to have an audience from somewhere. So Twitch is actually like the least, I would say, lucrative for new people. Time will be better spent on like YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, TikToks, and you kind of just share that content with all three of them and make it very efficient, but just kind of grow your audience from there, if that makes sense.
What do you for the agency? What do you charge? How do you charge money for it? And like, how many clients do you have right now?
Oh, we take a percentage of the
sales?
girls' earnings. Yeah, we start with like a 3-month trial period, and if they don't like it, they don't like we're providing value beyond what they were already doing, then we won't continue on it. Like we don't lock them in for like a year or two. That's like really scummy to me.
What's the benchmark? But what's the benchmark of what you think they should earn? Should they be earning $100,000 a month, $1 million? I mean, what do you?
It really just depends. We don't really have a benchmark right now. We kind of just look at their socials, look at like how much reach they have relative to how many people have already converted to their platforms to see if like, okay, well, we can work with that. There's some potential here. If it's a really bad conversion, maybe not, you know. But if it's like it's relative to how big they are already.
Here's a dangerous question, but I am curious. What works for conversion? Like we talk in the startup world about growth hacks all the time. It's like, oh, did you know that when Airbnb started, they didn't have any listings, so they scraped Craigslist local house listings. They made them all on Airbnb, and they messaged people on Craigslist saying, hey, I saw your listing on Airbnb. Can I book through there? And it was just a robot sending it, and then that caught people to put their listing up. So startups have these like classic growth hacks, things that unlocked new sales or tactics that unlock new sales. On your road to making millions and millions of dollars on OnlyFans, what are the growth hacks? What are the things that work best for growth for you and for the girls that you manage?
Gosh, that's so tough because things have worked before and then algorithms change and they don't. So it's been like an evolution of what's worked.
Well, like I don't actually, like I'm not going to do it. So you don't actually give me the functional things that work. What are the stories that are like, oh, that's funny that worked, or that's cool that worked. I want the more entertaining stories, not the boring stuff that actually, works over time.
Yeah. Well, what used to work really well before Instagram really cracked down was you could have long descriptions being like spam like a word. If you saw my latest juicy content, people would be like spamming a word that was like, it's like moist or something. And then people would go read in the comments like, why is everyone saying moist? What did I miss? And they would go back to the caption and they would still be confused, and they would click on the profile and then they would see the link in the bio, stuff like that.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
That's
you just
that's
have
a pretty
them
sophisticated
spam
thing.
like kind of like provocative words, like letter by letter, so people would be like, what is happening? And other games I used to play.
It's like a pattern interrupt, right? They have to, like, it's not what they're used to seeing, so then they had to go investigate to find out.
Yeah. Or other things I would do would be like, tell me when you see it, or I would play like I Spy in the pictures, and there would be like a swipe image on each different image. There would be like check the link in the bio for really good content, like just like words like on a shirt, so the algorithm couldn't detect it. like curved with the shape of the shirt and stuff. Like you'd have to like zoom in and stuff. And then the comments would be like right shoulder, right shoulder, right shoulder. So people would like zoom in, and it would do great. I really miss that.
That's a really good one too. Why do you miss that? You can't do that anymore?
Well, I mean, my main Instagram got banned, so now I just play things super safe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're wearing this like OnlyFans like tube top or whatever right now. Do they give those to you to like, is that their company swag to like help promote their site, or you make these?
I think I actually bought it from the website, but I probably could have asked. It was cheaper just to buy it or faster because time is money. So I'm just like.
And what were you doing before this? Because you're clearly like smart and a hustler and like whatever. Were you like, did you have like a job at like, you know, Blockbuster back in the day? Like what was the career before you became this person who you became?
I had a really weird one because most people, they do like work retail or like waitressing or something. I actually
Blockbuster, Sean. Blockbuster.
I'm doing her thing where I throw in a random word. That's why the YouTube comments are going to be like Blockbuster, Blockbuster. It's going to help the algorithm. I'm learning from her.
Wait, but hold on. How old are you?
28.
So no way is she gonna be working at a Blockbuster.
When you were
Blockbuster.
I used to get games from there as a kid, but once I was 16, there was not really a Blockbuster anymore.
But what was the weird job you had?
Yeah, it was really wholesome. I did character parties for kids' birthdays and hospital visits and like festivals around town, and Make-A-Wish Foundation stuff. I was like princesses and superheroes. So that was my company.
Wow. So you would dress up in cosplay and basically like I'd go to a kid's party or a hospital, basically?
Yeah, basically. Yeah,
wow.
And that was my little startup entertainment company.
What an amazing pivot. That's the best pivot I've ever heard. Like, you know, Instagram used to be this like location app that just happened to have photos. And then they were like, let's just go all in on the photos. And you basically were like, I'm going to go all in on the costume thing, but like, instead of little kids, we'll just do like big kids.
I still feel like I'm babysitting on Twitch too. So
yeah, exactly. That's amazing. And you pay like, you know, I have this researcher who helps me with the pod, and I was like, hey, she's coming on. And I like to not know everything, because if you know everything, you come in and you just ask questions you already know the answers to. It's kind of boring. And so, but he did surface one interesting thing in his research, which was he's like, yeah, there's like, you know, leaked stuff online where you don't have to pay for the OnlyFans. You can just like find something.
Don't tell anyone. Well, remove it. Protect it.
But he was like, I think she has like an retainer, like, you know, bloodhound agency or lawyer or something that's trying to like just shut all these down. What is there like a cat and mouse game of you trying to like keep your content behind the paywall? And do you like how much do you pay per month to like protect yourself?
Yeah, we have a whole like little DMCA staff here. It's a combined effort. Like I do have lawyers.
Yeah, but why are you paying for that? OnlyFans doesn't offer that?
No.
What?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I have my own little like
that's
lawyer
a startup
team.
Opportunity. Create a little agency that's going to do that for all OnlyFans creators and just like
we offer
charge
that
insurance.
Too. We offer that too for
okay,
our girls.
great.
Yeah. But it's funny though, because I stream so much that like I have a very close relationship, I guess, with like the moderators of my chat on my Discord. They will actually actively like find leaks, because people do something stupid, which is on my Twitch channel. They'll try to viewers will start mass DMing at people like leaks here, leaks here, leaks here. And then my mods are just like, boop, send to my DMCA team. Then we get it deleted. So they're just like self-reporting. I don't have to go looking for them. They ended up just exposing all the leaks to me already.
So Mr. Beast, when we were hanging out with the Mr. Beast, so we did a pod with him, and Sean and I flew down and got to talk to him. And there was a bunch of fascinating things about him, but one of the more fascinating things that a lot of people don't know is, so he's like this big shot in America and has all these followers, but YouTube's global. And so he decided to hire a team to start translating his stuff, meaning like they would dub his content with voice actors. And what he did was really interesting is he would actually a lot of people would be like, oh, let's just get the cheapest person who kind of sounds interesting. And I believe he would overpay, where he would get like the guy who voiced a famous character in Brazil would also voice Mr. Beast. And everyone thought that was pretty cool and it sounds neat. And so all creators were like, hey, do that for us. And he goes, yeah, sure, I'll do it for you. And I forget how it works, but I believe he takes a percentage of the ad revenue.
I'll spin up your Portuguese channel and we'll manage it. We'll have we have a person who speaks Portuguese. They'll write the descriptions. We'll have the voice actors. We'll do all of that stuff. and we take like, I don't know, 30% of the revenue of that YouTube channel for them.
I need him to do that for me in Turkish because I have a huge Turkish audience because Pornhub banned.
Is that
those repressed Turkish people? They need it, so they
need my try-ons in Turkish.
But they like.
Yeah, do you talk much? Like, or
a little bit, but they probably mute anyways. You know,
the universal language.
They would probably just mute it anyways.
But that's a good point. But what's interesting is I don't know if you're doing this because you're trying to be humble, but you're kind of downplaying, I think, like the shit that you're doing. You're like, oh, I just have these like personal assistants, and it could be you're just being humble. But have you thought about like kind of like scaling this like crazy? Beast or Jimmy just raised some like $200 million at like a $1.5 billion valuation. Have you thought about being like, well, no, we're not just going to call it personal assistance. We're going hard at this, and we're going to completely operationalize and help this niche of content creators. Have you ever thought about like kind of from that angle as opposed to like, I don't know, maybe you're just being nice, but it kind of sounds like you're downplaying.
I think
like
that's what we're trying to do with Real Work. We just started it like a few months ago. So it was my personal assistants that we're kind of turning into an actual organization. You're
very like nonchalant about.
That's what I mean.
About I'm trying to figure out what gets you basically excited about what you've done. Because I think you're basically like, it's not new to you, right? When we hear what you're doing, it's kind of mind blowing. When you hear what you're doing, you're like, yeah, I know that's what I do every day, right? It's not gonna be mind blowing to you. But there's got to be some part of you that's like, holy shit, I can't believe this is what's happening, and like, oh my god, like this could be blah blah blah. And there's got to be some part of you that still has that, I don't know, less laid back and more excited part of you that's like, yeah, I really want this, and I know that's gonna be crazy, but like I think I could do it. Is there some part of this that's like really mind blowing to you, or like really exciting for you going forward?
Yeah, I think all of it's pretty mind blowing when you step back and think about it. I guess I've just gotten used to like the day to day, like this is how it is, and then doing more and more over time, you kind of just get desensitized because it's such like a slow process over the past 6 years. It feels slow to me anyways, because I do it so much. But yeah, I mean, I really want to do animal content on my Twitch stream, and I'm hoping to move towards that soon, kind of away from like so much of the e-girl like side. Like I'm still going to be an e-girl, I guess, to people who want to brand it as that. But like I feel like content can be so much more than sitting in a hot tub, when
you're saying animal content, I'm not a Twitch person. When you're saying animal content, is that a phrase for something else, or is that literally like
No, like I have horses and dogs that I want to do like Twitch streams with, and training and trail riding and taking care of them and having a stable and a ranch in the near future, hopefully.
I can't find this client info.
Have you heard of HubSpot? HubSpot is a CRM platform, so it shares its data across every application. Every team can stay aligned. No out-of-sync spreadsheets or dueling databases. HubSpot. Grow better.
Do you have like a therapist or anybody? Because like I've seen how Twitch streamers, like what they have to put up with. And like there's this crazy like love, hate, weirdo stalker thing that happens. Then you get famous on Twitch, and like you get a lot of like you see comments that are super negative, you see comments that are super like super positive, and it's just like a lot to take in while you're just sitting at home in your room streaming for like 8 hours, and which is kind of an unnatural thing without seeing the light of day during that time, right? Like, do you do like mental health? Do you do anything proactively for mental health so that you're not like going nuts while you do this?
Well, I do have a therapist now for some other reasons, but I probably should have had one this whole time for streaming as well. But my kind of mental health, I guess, outside of therapy would just be horse riding. It's kind of like my meditation replacement.
Does that stuff actually get to you? Like, I do a decent job of, it's actually funny. I do a decent job of like ignoring haters. We're not nearly as big as you, but we still get like, hundreds of comments a day of like hate, or good and bad. And like I recently got fit, and I remember people commenting of like, oh, you look less fat, or they'll say like, oh, today you're looking a little chubby. And I was like, damn, these people are mean. You must get like thousands. I mean, you do thousands of people a day commenting on your looks. Does that actually get to you? Are you pretty good of kind of, I don't know, ignoring it?
I would say it used to get to me more, but at this point, I just kind of immune to it. I think. Yeah, it's not so much comments that get to me. What gets to me is comparison to myself. Because I'll on a photo shoot day say I'm feeling bloated or I'm breaking out or whatever, and I'll be referencing like pictures that did well on my social media before, just so we know like what to recreate that we haven't done in a while. And I'm like, man, I look so good there. I look like shit today. Like things like that, because like at the time, you know, it's like the perfect lighting, the perfect angle, whatever, and it just doesn't look that way in the mirror, you know. But then usually it did done with the shoot, and you're like, oh no, these are fine, like because it looks different on camera. So the reality is what fucks me up, not really people's comments.
Or maybe it's like a child actor thing, and like in 15 years, all the like famous Twitch streamers are going to be like, you know, all screwed up. It's like they were fine at the time when it was all good. It's like later when things get weird. You know, you also tweet about like what you do with your money, which I think is kind of interesting. We'll talk about the gas station thing in a second, but like we always ask, you know, the guests who come on, we say, all right, cool. Like money's this weird thing where it's kind of taboo. It's like, in entrepreneurship, you're supposed to say, it's not about the money for me, but like they fight like hell to like every point of equity and every dollar earned. It's like clearly money does matter to people. And they also don't really say what they do with their money. And therefore there's a bunch of people who are listening to podcasts like this that don't know, like there's like an information wall. It's like, you don't get to know what happens on the other side. It's like only through many years and hard lessons, you get to figure it out. And we think that's kind of silly. We try to like break down that wall a little bit.